Darryl Skinner, you're running for council. You have a pretty good background from what I saw on your resume. Tell me a little bit where you're coming from and when you got here and what you did before you got here, that kind of thing.
So I originally grew up in North Bay, and somewhere in my 20s, after a few jobs in that, I had moved away with a company and spent my time traveling throughout Ontario, northwestern Ontario, southern Ontario, Saskatchewan. And in my travels, I always wanted to give back to the community, so I sat on boards, committees, was a counselor in the city of Dryden, as well as doing some charity work and volunteer work on some other boards as well.
Busy guy. You're a family man too. 3 kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Three girls and a granddaughter.
Oh my. Yeah, full hands for sure. What was it like up in Dryden?
Dryden was a fantastic, beautiful little community, kind of in the middle of nowhere. But while I was there, they had obviously a municipal election, and it was some of the councillors had been around for quite some time, and my background is retail, and I got some budgeting background and finances, and somebody asked me if I would be interested in running for your city council.
Now, how'd that go? What do you think of that?
It was definitely a learning curve for the first little bit, but once you get into it and sitting on a few committees and boards, and you start really getting into the community, seeing what they want, and it was great. I loved serving the public.
One term?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can probably, if elected, hit the ground running, basically, as far as understanding the lay of the land when it comes to municipal politics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right on. You've had a chance. You've been here back here for 3 years.
Yes.
And so what do you think of the community, and what do you think are the priority issues?
Always loved North Bay. Community's changed quite a bit since I was here in my 20s. And
they shut your school down, Whitfield, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. That's great. I love Whitfield. Doing a lot of movies there. Priorities. There's quite a few priorities. On my platform, I'm looking to help deal with homelessness in North Bay, as well as not-for-profit housing and affordable housing, and looking at getting some business and local business going in town.
Affordable housing, municipal housing is part of it. There's a lot of details and a lot of moving parts there. What do you think would be the first step as far as dealing with that issue? For you, I know that there's a lot of things already on the way. They're working on things. They're identifying problems. They're looking at some solutions. But what can you do right away?
I'd really like to get into that committee that they got going for the homelessness, because it's along the same lines. When I was in Dryden, I sat on a not-for-profit housing board in Dryden, and it was a city-run project, and it was great because there was very little overhead. True not-for-profit was utilized for low income, as well as homelessness as needed, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that'd be good. If you have a passion for that and some experience, it'd be nice. Yeah. What else are you hearing at the door when you're checking people out and seeing what they're worried about?
Quite a few things. They're worried about transparency at City Hall. They're worried about Trout Lake. They're worried about the new arena that is planned.
Yeah. And have you looked into the arena situation, what's proposed and what the other options were?
I have. The current proposal. I'm one of few that don't support the current proposal. The problem with our municipality, what I see is they can't afford infrastructure funding. How will they afford this? And yes, I know there's some money coming from the government. A good portion is paid, but we're talking $20 million that the city's on the hook for, and there's no funds if they can't pay for infrastructure. Budgeting City Hall is a bit of a concern of mine, and a background of mine as well. And I think they're going about it the wrong way. So right at the moment, I don't think we should be supporting the new arena.
Yeah. Well, it's a difficult one, especially because it should have been dealt with 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
What you have here is community sports infrastructure that is been band-aided and is nearing its end of its life. So eventually there might be a need for replacement infrastructure. But it was actually 10 years ago would have been the smart move.
Absolutely.
At this point, you have to reevaluate priorities. I understand that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's if the money's not available and they start borrowing money, right now is not the time for the city to be refinancing or borrowing any type of funds whatsoever. The interest rate is way too high for a city.
Yeah, well, and if the money they have socked away right now, which I think there's about 17 million budgeted and 11 in hand or something like that, if you don't borrow that for that, you would have to borrow for something else, right? So it's all in the same pot. So you're in favor of re-looking at the priorities here.
Yes, absolutely.
So other than arena infrastructure, what do you think would be a better dollar spent for infrastructure in the city?
There's a lot of concern with infrastructure within the city. I just think that they're going about it the wrong way. The problem with most municipalities, and even my past experience, is that when they're spending money on infrastructure, say they pave a road or something that I've asked. Somebody asked from the Firefighters Association asked me a question about what about the new ladder truck that they're looking for. It's like fantastic, that's a piece of equipment that the city needs. The old truck is at the end of life, but my question is, 25 years ago or 20 years ago, when they purchased a new truck, did they put aside money or start saving money to purchase this new truck?
Same with the arenas, right?
Absolutely.
Basically.
And that's what the city needs to do. Financially responsible spending is what they need to do. You pave a road, you should be saving for 15, 20 years down the road when you need to replace that road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of municipalities got caught up in the 0% increases on taxes, and then not enough reinvestment in the right time, and then it just builds up. Like, it doesn't go away. Like, if you don't fix something in your house, or it doesn't fix itself, right?
Absolutely. But if they don't start doing something now, I mean, I'm sure there's infrastructure out there that's way past its end of life, and all they're going to be doing is slapping band-aids on it till who knows when.
Well, yeah, you're going to have your work cut out for you, because there's a long list of things that have already been band-aided long enough, right? So, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Now, business-wise, in downtown's a big issue. What do you think of, and what have you heard as far as, I know there's some groups that are looking at investing and wanting to make something out of it. The city has some ideas. What do you think about downtown?
I support downtown. Downtown's fantastic. The only concern is that we need to deal with some root causes right now. We need to deal with the people living on the streets. Need to deal with the drugs, crime. All that needs to be taken care of before we start looking at investing in downtown.
Some say the investment comes first, and that pushes out the homelessness and whatnot. Get more people down there, and then, but
it's been my experience. Sorry to interrupt you, man.
Yeah, no, that's
cool. It's been my experience that it's usually like you deal with the root cause. I lived in a city. I'm not going to name the city where we had the same issue on a major part of the town, and they went and spent millions of dollars refurbishing the entire streets, the sidewalks, light posts, buildings. It's still the same downtown, right?
Mm.
Just looks prettier.
Sounds like Thunder Bay. So that's cool. I can answer. I can say things you don't have to. I brought it in, and I've been there, and I've been following the issues there. So it, like a lot of northern cities, the Sioux, the Sudbury, Timmins, a lot of them are facing the same issues. Have you heard of any other communities that are dealing with it in a good way?
Homelessness. Actually, it was. How's that name thing? You have to pause.
It's okay.
Medicine Hat.
Oh yeah.
Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
Medicine Hat out west is. I believe. Don't quote me. I believe that the last time I read, they were down to 1 or 2 homeless people that frequent the streets, but they've taken care of, for the most part, homelessness in their city.
Well, they're doing better than Vancouver, anyways, eh?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing you want to deal with. When we talk about the root cause of some of the issues, and of course, not all homelessness is the same. Like
right.
you got a segment of the homeless and housing challenged population, and the people that are in homes and have housing but are on the brink. Those are a different issue than what you're dealing
Absolutely.
with chronic addiction.
Yes.
And also chronic criminality is a whole different group as well. Like there's some homeless people downtown North Bay that are upstanding people and have a lot of going for them, except for their particular circumstances right now. There's others I wouldn't want them anywhere near my dog. Right?
Absolutely.
If I had a dog anymore.
I've spent over the last month and a half, actually over the last 2.5, almost 3 years that I've been here, I've spent a lot of time with the homeless, helping out as far as feeding them through. And forgive me, Shane's going to kill me. I forget is the organization.
Oh yeah. Is that the Boots on the Ground?
But Jeff from Boots on the Ground, I've talked to them as well.
Okay, but I think I know who you're talking about. All right, yeah.
So Shane has a organization where he feeds the homeless, and I've spent a lot of time with them and talking with people on the streets, and for the most part, they are fantastic people, just in a bad circumstance, right?
Have you been to the soup kitchen and Dennis Chip and those guys got going on there?
The gathering place?
Yeah.
I have not actually been into the gathering place. I do through my work donate a lot of food to the soup kitchen here in town.
Yeah, so you're manager with Giant Tiger on Algonquin, right?
Yes.
So you have get to see and talk to a lot of different people, and it's good that your business is supporting something like that. It's important.
Okay.
We got the food bank over on Fisher. We got the infrastructure here to help old people when they need it. It's just that there's more than need it, and there's a segment that are causing the problems, right? Would you be in favor of a bigger, better jail that could house them? Be the chronic ones that are can't stop doing what they're doing, and they're waiting for their trials, which is the justice system's all clogged up. We just don't have a place for them to stay until they can be processed, right? Or to serve, I don't know. What do you think about the justice system and how that can be improved locally?
I don't think a bigger, better jail is the answer. I think the answer lies with mental health and addictions, and yes, there's a criminal element that police services have to be involved in. But right now, the police services, the officers that I've talked to, they are run off their feet with mental health and addiction issues, and that's something that we need to get off their plate.
Right, for sure. We've done those stories for 15 years that I know of. It's just crazy what they have to do, and it's a revolving door, and
Absolutely.
It must be very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's a different type of addiction problem we have here than ever before in the world, right? This particular type of drug and the dangers of it's not it's not like it used to be. And I don't think they've really caught up on a good program on how to deal with it, because opiate addiction like that is different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both my wife and I went for the overdose training, and we carry the packs in our vehicle.
Right.
We need more of that, but we need more education, more communication as to what is needed and what resources we can provide as a municipality. We need to open the lines of communication with the provincial government, and need to be lobbying for that. What we need.
Yeah, I think this one show I just saw the other day, I shared it on my Facebook, and it was about a guy, Vancouver's issue, what was tried, what didn't work, and what other places are doing. And it's heavy on treatment and rescuing and giving options for the people that can get out of it, right?
Absolutely.
That's the key sort of prevention.
Yeah.
Or the cure is more resources towards treatment.
Yeah. It's not easy. Somebody that's addicted, it's not easy to get them. I've seen it in my lifetime. Quite a few friends travel down that wrong path, and it is horrible to get out of.
Yeah. I don't even know very many people that were able to get out of an opiate addiction and get their lives back together. I think maybe we should talk to more of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're like, when I say get out of it, they're still in treatment. The friends that I know, yeah.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah,
it's a long road, and there's very few examples of success. It's a tough thing. So I was always under the impression that the best thing we can do is prevent people from going down those roads in the first place, right?
Yes.
So services and supports and mental health counseling for youth.
Absolutely.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to focus on the youth. I spent a little time with Seth and Out Loud there, and he's got a fantastic program for our youth. But we need more programs, and we need to make sure that we have somewhere where the youth can go to get help and.
Well, I just wish the school system was able to better serve in that way. I know that it's not funded properly or organized for that, but that's the front lines of youth for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So if that's where it needs to be, I think, because that's where they have to go, right? Yeah. So maybe we could focus in on that a little bit more as far as providing the resources that are needed at the school and making school the best and biggest part of people's lives.
I agree. As a municipality, as a potential counselor, I mean, we need to focus on the youth. That's our tomorrow.
Well, the Near North School Board had a meeting last night. Have you seen anything come out of that yet?
No, I have not. No.
Well, it's a shit show circus. What's going on with that board for sure. So you'll hear about it. Yeah, like basically West Ferris Secondary School was the home of Dreamcoat Theatre.
Yes.
Which was long-standing tradition for a lot of kids to get into it before they went into Toros and whatnot.
I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah, so they lost their home there with no plan provided or help to get a new one, and people are really up in arms. So. Definitely the school board has to get its act together, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. Yeah, I did read a little about that this morning when before I went to work.
Well, they got a budget that's bigger than the city of North Bay's, and everything they do affects the entire city. And there's 4 school boards, of course, more than there probably should be, as far as that goes. But I won't bring you there. What really needs to happen is that the school board and the city need to coordinate better and more communication, because they have to pick up the pieces.
Absolutely. And from what I've seen over the last few years in the city, a communication between all our local resources, whether it be a school board or police services, is lacking coming out of City Hall, and we need to do a better job communicating and finding out what is needed, and so we're not hit by surprises like that was just announced.
Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of silos where there's no real cohesion. So if anything you can do, if you get elected, to assist the cohesion and working together. I've been here for a few years, and there's no one place to blame. I know there's a lot of good workers at the city as well, and people that are trying very hard.
Absolutely.
So it's not all on them. And I've seen councils come and go, and there's been good councils and some weak councils. And I don't think there's everybody's had good intentions. It's just that it's hard. It's hard, and you need people with resilience. So. Are you in a position, if elected, even if it's frustrating your first year, are you going to continue, or are you going to be one of the one and dones?
Oh no, I'm not done by any means.
So you're here for the long haul.
I'm here for the long haul. I've ran into issues before, and I know the political process is slow and sometimes frustrating, but that is what you need to do to properly serve the people of the community.
Now that there was one councillor that was really making good headway, and he was just on the cusp of making a good name for himself, and got the first job offer, and he's down in the Caribbean somewhere, making big money. Are you committed to staying in North Bay? Is that your family plan?
That's it. I grew up in North Bay. It took me a long time to get back to North Bay. This is where I always wanted to retire, wanted my family. It is a fantastic community, and this is where I am for the long haul. That's it.
Well, good for you. Good for you. What else in your campaign platform would you like to talk about?
Not-for-profit housing.
Well, there needs to be somebody that's focused on that.
Absolutely. I've talked to several people, and even walking handing out flyers. I've talked to a lot of people that are struggling financially and are potentially the next people living on the streets. So we need some affordable housing in town, and we need it almost yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
TSAB's got a couple projects on the go, and there's like I think there's a 70-unit thing coming up for just off of John and back there. I think I can't remember. Is it the old Dr. McDougall School off Brooks?
Quicker? Is that the?
No,
no, that's the other one.
Brooks, over by Laurier Woods. There's an old school there, and part of it's already dedicated for Indigenous daycare and whatnot.
Yes. Yeah.
And then beside that, there's a project going up with a 70-unit kind of multiple story thing. There are some projects in the way that might alleviate some of this pressure on the market, which drives the prices up, of course, right?
Absolutely. But my concern is being actual low income, affordable housing, right?
Yeah. What is affordable these days?
Right at the moment, not much is affordable, but something, if I draw on my past, when I was councillor in Dryden, they had a not-for-profit housing that was city-run by a committee, city-owned. So city-owned not-for-profit housing is a fantastic idea as far as affordability. You can keep rents low. City property, paying taxes, utilities, city-run utilities. I mean, it's the true way to get a not-for-profit affordable housing in place.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the provincial programs, the federal programs where they have a developer who makes a small percentage of the units affordable for a short period of time, and it's only not a big enough fraction discount from the market, right? Like
$1,000 isn't affordable.
No. And there's so many people that could do so much better if they didn't have to worry about skipping a meal to pay rent, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been a tough time the last couple of years, and I don't see it changing for the foreseeable future. Interest rates going up, cost of living's going up, food's going up. We need to take care of the people, and we need to make sure that they have affordable housing. We need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that people are not choosing between heat or housing or food.
Well, the big problem that with the situation in our economy right now is that we need young people raised in stable environments.
Absolutely.
So that we don't have the ripple effect down the road of them not being able to adjust to the different life periods that they're going to hit, the puberty and then worrying about college, and that's where we lose them through the cracks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if we can just keep the focus on helping people raise good kids, right?
Agree.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate getting to know you.
Absolutely.
I very much appreciate you advertising my magazine. I hope you got good feedback. It certainly made the magazine look good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, and you always have a project on the go. So thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate you coming in, and it's my pleasure to be involved with telling the stories of people that are interested in improving the community.
Absolutely.
Right? Thank you.
Thank you.